We have some interesting news to discuss today as the Toronto Blue Jays have made several signings and a trade, and one of these signings might shock you. So I'm going to break that down in this episode, as well as Davis Schneider. He has been surprising everyone and has been the one sole bright point for this Toronto Blue Jays team so far. So I'm going to have that and much more coming up. What's up, Jays fans? Nick Gosse, your host of Jays Digest. And we have a lot of news to discuss today. Obviously, the Blue Jays play in a few hours against the Phillies, and this team so far, obviously, throughout the year has been quite disappointing, but some more news has come out regarding the Blue Jays. They have made a lot of moves the past few days. So we're going to cover all that. Before we do, quick reminder to hit the subscribe button. If you're a part of the 70% who aren't subscribed, it would mean the world to us if you could hit that button. We produce daily Jays content, and I know the season has been rough so far for the Toronto Blue Jays, but we're producing content, and so hopefully the team starts to get going soon, so bear with us. But let's just get right into the first topic of today, which is the Jays make moves, and they've been making a lot of moves, and we haven't covered them all. Obviously, I was traveling, so we haven't been able to get as many, instant updates out regarding the moves. But the couple moves that one of them just happened yesterday was a little bit surprising to me, and I'm just going to dive right into it. I see late last night the Blue Jays are signing Aaron Sanchez to a minor league deal per Sportsnet Jamie Campbell. So a bit of a bomb there by Jamie Campbell here, but for all of us Jays fans who have been a fan of the team for a while, and if you haven't, I'll still kind of discuss it a little bit here. Aaron Sanchez was, at one point, one of our best starting pitchers. He was one of our best prospects. He obviously had that great season, which we'll get into in a little bit, where he was, a Cy Young candidate. And now, so many years later, we're talking 6-7 years later, he is returning to the Blue Jays on a minor league deal. And I'll get into the actual impact of the signing in a second, but just the fact they signed this guy this far after he used to be a dominant pitcher in the league is hilarious to me, and it is not the signing that many Blue Jays fans wanted to see from this team. Obviously, the pitching has been okay. The bullpen has been awful. Maybe he'll make his way into the minor league team, but you can see here from Shadavidi, as Sportsnet Jamie Campbell said, Blue Jays in agreement on a minor league deal with Aaron Sanchez. He's slated to join AAA Buffalo, where he'll pitch as a starter. And we've kind of discussed how the depth in this team, specifically in the minor leagues, has really fallen off. Wes Parsons, who was with the team at the start of the year, is gone. Mitch White was DFA'd. He's gone. Uriel Rodriguez is hurt. Bowden Francis is hurt. Chad Green is hurt. Obviously, Chad Green is not a starter and never was a starter for the Blue Jays, at least. But all this depth for our fifth starter spot was dwindling until the point now where they had to recall Alek Manoah, and he looked a bit rough in his first start the other night. But now they're adding some more depth to their Buffalo AAA roster. Now, will Aaron Sanchez make a start for the Toronto Blue Jays? I highly doubt it. I mean, maybe in a world where Manoah gets hurt, hopefully he doesn't, Aaron Sanchez would have to come up. But they're making a bunch of moves here to add depth to the minor league team. And you look at Aaron Sanchez's stats. He last pitched a couple years ago in 2022 where he pitched 8 games for the Minnesota Twins, posting a 4.71 ERA. But you look back to 2016, the classic year. He was only 23 years old. He's a bit of a prospect. He went 15-2 in 30 starts, 200 innings, was a Cy Young finalist in the top 10. He was an all-star. He was amazing. And then ultimately, he battled injuries. If you remember way back then, he battled blisters on his hand all the time. And they ultimately sent him off in a deal to the Astros, I believe, with Joe Biagini for Derek Fisher way back. And that trade obviously didn't work out for either side, as Derek Fisher ended up being nothing. And then Joe Biagini and Aaron Sanchez ended up being nothing for Houston there in 2019. But again, all of these things, it's so funny how this kind of has came full circle now. And you think way back to that year when they made that Sanchez trade, everyone was confused. Everyone was upset in 2019. And ultimately, he almost pitched no-hitter in his first game with the Astros. But after that, nothing happened. But now to bring him back this many years later, it's very interesting. As for the impact he'll make on the team, probably not much. He's just a depth starter for AAA because they were desperately in need of pitching. Maybe if someone gets hurt, he might slide in the bullpen. He might slide in somewhere else. But yeah, for now, it's just a bullpen depth signing. But they also made more moves as they made a trade the other day, acquiring Joel Cannell from the Astros in exchange for cash considerations. He is also now in AAA, and he is I believe he's a relief pitcher, but you can see here from the Astros, he has a AAA, he's 29, his bullpen depth. He owns a 6.30 career ERA in the big leagues at 85 innings, and this happened during the Game 7 of the Leafs-Bruins there, and he was DFA'd a couple days ago. 77 MLB appearances, all relief, 6.3 ERA and 1 save. Game 7 overtime was fun, or is fun. It didn't end up being fun if you're a Leafs fan, like I said myself. But yeah, it's interesting now. So what they're doing is adding a lot of depth. They needed the depth, but none of these guys are really impact players at all. So it should, and most likely will be, just depth moves going forward for the AAA bullpen and even maybe the AAA starting staff to help them out, help them win. And then maybe if they need pitching because Manoah gets hurt or someone else gets hurt, they could call one of these guys up. But it's not really super exciting moves. Obviously, the Sanchez one was a little bit hilarious and a little bit surprising. I can guarantee you no one, at least I didn't, expect Aaron Sanchez to be signing with the Toronto Blue Jays in 2024. But it ultimately happened, and that's the way it is. And I think, nothing wrong with these signings. None of them will make a big league impact. Maybe Joey Cannell will get a couple of, relief appearances like Brendan Little did, just based off of injuries and things like that. But for the most part, nothing big will come out of these moves. And maybe we'll see Aaron Sanchez play for the Blue Jays again. They got Votto, they got Sanchez. They're bringing back the whole 10 years ago crew. But yeah, let me know what your thoughts are on that in the comment section down below, because definitely a lot of moves have been happening lately for the Toronto Blue Jays. But let's get into something else now. And obviously, again, the Jays play the Phillies tonight. The offense has been rough. The offense is starting to come around a little bit. Even though the offense is starting to come around a little bit, the pitching has been brutal. The bullpen has been bad. The starting pitching has been okay, not quite what you need it to be, but it's fine. The bullpen has really been the biggest surprise, like Peter and I covered in yesterday's video. But one guy who's been flying under the radar a little bit is Davis Schneider, and you can look at this. During this terrible Jays stretch, Davis Schneider has become an everyday player and one of their most productive hitters. In his last 7 games, he's posted a 409 batting average with 1,100 OPS, and then he kind of craps on Schneider for not playing him every day. But Davis Schneider is an everyday player in this league now. He has the power. We saw his Babe Ruth run to start his career last season, and then ultimately ended off like an 0 for 36 stretch, or 0 for 37, 38, 39, whatever it ended up being. But he has come out now, and after a rough spring training, has propelled himself into this roster, onto this team, onto this everyday lineup. He's playing left field at an okay, rate. He's not a horrible fielder, so that's good. They can slide him in wherever. He can play second base, third, wherever. You could probably throw him at shortstop, and he'd figure it out. But he's unstoppable. And if the offense can get it going, we're seeing Vladdy starting to get it going a little bit. Davis Schneider, Bo Bichette's still rough. George Springer's still rough. But if this offense can slowly continue to pick it up, there is a chance that the Jays can turn this around. They're going to need it to happen from the bullpen. It's going to start with the bullpen and the starting pitching, because if the bullpen can't hold a lead, it doesn't matter who John Schneider throws out there. It doesn't matter what pitchers we get back, whether we trade for one, whether we trade for one at the deadline, whether we the recovering from injuries in Chad Green's case. They need to be able to throw shutdown innings, and they have not been able to do this. The Jays were up 5-1 in the game the other day, and they still lost because of the bullpen, and none of the bullpen pitchers pitched a shutout inning. That cannot happen. But the offense can continue to do what they're doing now, which is slowly start to put together more competitive at-bats. Then I think the rest will work out. Their starting pitching is elite. It hasn't really shown to be fully elite yet. It's been very good, but it can be a lot better. They've been about league average so far, and you're looking at the ERA and things like that. But they've been very solid. Obviously skewed by some starts by Yariel and Manoah. But the bullpen is what needs to be fixed. But if you're Davis Schneider and he continues to hit like this, he's going to be a pleasant surprise. And he's our everyday, I don't know if he's going to be our left fielder of the future, our second baseman, our catcher, for all I know, of the future. Wherever he plays, he's going to be in the lineup every day for the foreseeable future. I just wanted to point that out, because maybe been flying under the radar a little bit. But that'll wrap it up. Let me know how you're feeling about the Jays so far. Obviously, Jays fans are upset, but we're going to get there. Keep battling, keep grinding, and hopefully the boys can take care of business against the Phillies tonight.